Hi, it's Maggie, the Irish Gypsy, here to bring you your November 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers. Always, thank you to those of you who continue to watch, follow, listen, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your support and feedback and comments are so important to me, and I thank you so much for taking the time to manifest them in whatever way that you see fit, whether it's comments on my channel or the emails some of you send directly to me. And thank you as well for those of you who continue to keep me so busy with personal one-on-one readings, and to my regular clients. It's always an honor and a pleasure to read for you. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the About button, and that'll give you a little more information about what I do and the services I offer. I do a wide variety of readings, love and romance, career, work, and finance, year overviews, 6 and 12-month overviews in all the general areas of your life or specific areas of your life. I also do love and romance compatibility charting, channeled messages, and so on. I do readings full-time 5 to 6 days a week. So turnaround time is usually pretty fast. It's anywhere from a few days upwards of 3 weeks, but almost always within a 1 to 3 week period of time, we can schedule a reading for you live or recorded. For those of you who are looking for same day quick answers or contact from me, you can also find me on the Instant Go app. Which is, I posted a video about this a week or so ago. You can see it on my YouTube channel's homepage. It's an iPhone app, and Android and Samsung, be patient. By the end of this year, which is not too far away, it will also be available to you. This is for less complex readings. If you just have one quick question, or you just a couple of quick questions for shorter, less intense readings, or you just want to touch base on something, you can get very fast, same day, usually within the same hour, a couple hours, I answer, as long as I'm not, as long as it's not the middle of the night, otherwise you have to wait till I wake up. So that's a quicker way of getting a hold of me if you don't want the more intensive, complex readings. So for those of you who do, you can email me. All this contact information is under the About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. Just click on it and you'll see all of that. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. So moving right along, this reading is for the Earth sign of Taurus for November 2017. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign as well. One of them may play out a little more predictably for you than your primary sun sign, your primary zodiac sign. And just watching all three gives you different bits of insight and clarification, because there's so many of you watching, and of course it's not going to mean the same to everybody who watches. It may be resonate for you in work, career, and finance for some of you, and love and romance, or family situations for others, although the energy fundamentally remains the same. So try to watch your sun, moon, and rising if you know them, if you can, so you get as big a picture as possible. Okay, enough of all that. Let's get into this. Taurus. Let us see our bulls, our lovely, grounded, sometimes stubborn bulls. What is in store for you for November 2017? Taurus, November 2017. I keep hearing ethics in my head for some reason. Okay, Taurus, we have the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Three of Swords, the Eight of Wands, followed by the Ten of Swords, Justice, followed by the Nine of Swords. Okay, I get why ethics might be involved here. And Temperance, followed by the Queen of Cups, and from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy, your crowning card representing overall energy and guidance, is the Magician. Okay, Taurus, while I was shuffling, I kept hearing ethics, something to do with ethics or morals or ethics, something to do with that, and I'm understanding why, because I feel like a lot of you are in a situation. What area of your life this is going to manifest in is going to vary, because there's so many of you watching, and this is a general reading. But the energy is going to translate. It's going to fundamentally remain the same. I feel like there's something you're feeling, a sense of internal pressure to to talk about, to reveal, to say. Now, having said that, for some of you, this might be in work, career, and finance. You may know of something going on that's unethical, or somebody's not doing something right, and you're in the situation like, what do I do? I feel bound, I feel pressured to do something, to say something. How do I do this? What do I do? Struggling with maybe what the right thing is to do, or what the right thing is for you to do. And this is a situation which would be difficult for anybody, but I think for you, particularly Taurus, and maybe for, Virgo and Capricorn as well. Again, a difficult situation for anybody, but you, as a Taurus, you probably have a very strongly rooted sense of ethics anyway, but also I find that a lot of earth signs don't typically tend to be put in, of course nobody does, but maybe you a little bit more sometimes, don't like to be put in situations which could be potentially unpredictable in terms of emotions and messy, sticky, complicated things, because you're an earth sign and you like things to kind of remain, very much stable, secure, knowing what the layout is. And anytime you approach a situation where you don't know what other people's reactions are, particularly if emotions or, ethical situations, it's always an unknown, and that's an uncomfortable place to be. Some of you, this may be in a relationship area. It could be a romantic relationship. You may be wanting, you may have found someone new. You may be in a relationship with someone and you may be wanting to end it, or you may have maybe unintentionally found someone new or fallen in love, and because you're worried about, it looks like regardless of what area of your life this is manifesting, and you're worried about the reaction it's going to cause, that it may cause someone pain, strife, conflict, and it may be seen as a betrayal or a stabbed in the back, whether it's, career, work, finance, even within a group of friends, a romantic situation, even a family situation or friends. It may be seen as being disloyal, and you're struggling with what the right thing to do is. That almost kind of covers all the cards that I've pulled, but we're going to go through them anyway. We begin with the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Three of Swords. So the Seven of Pentacles, it's earth energy. That's the element which governs the suit of Pentacles, and it often manifests in earthly, tangible ways in the earthly, tangible areas of our life. It can be work, career, finance, job, or it can represent, tangible work, effort we put into other areas of our life as well. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection, assessment, motives, motivations. It's harvest time, and you're looking at what the results of your work, your planting, your careful nurturing has proven, and you're trying to make a decision on what to do. Is this worth harvesting? Is this worth harvesting and then leaving and doing something else, planting a different crop? Should I plant the same crop? It's a question of looking at what you have and asking yourself if it's worth continuing, worth investing. It's a contemplative inner energy kind of card, reflection, assessment, motives, and motivation on a situation, particularly in light of what you have invested in it. Like if this is a situation at work, okay, if I come forward with this, or if I speak my mind or speak my truth about this, what are the ramifications and consequences going to be, because I have this much time and seniority and whatever invested in this. And the same with any kind of relationship issue as well. Now the Seven of Pentacles is paired with the Three of Swords, air energy. That's the element which governs the suit of swords. So it's more a mental, cerebral, intellectual energy about our belief systems and outlooks, how we think about things, our words and our ideas, and how it affects the way that we communicate. The Three of Swords does have an emotional component too, because it can represent emotional pain, heartache, heartbreak, breakup, sometimes breakup due to infidelity in romantic situations, although not necessarily always. But it does reflect emotional pain that you're experiencing as a result of a relationship or a situation of some kind. And it can be, and I feel like this is kind of resonating more strongly here, even though I don't feel this way about the Three of Swords as often. It could be about, the Three of Swords is sometimes about the pain that you may be causing or inflicting, either in real time or potentially outward to someone else or within a situation or a group of people. So there's this reflection and assessment energy with the Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. And I feel like you're trying to, at the end of October, beginning of November, I am recording these in the last week of October, you're trying to make a decision, and I feel like it's about revealing something. The nature of that something is going to vary, whether it's work, career somehow, whether it's telling a friend or somebody else that you know of something else. Some of you may be even knowing that a friend of yours or someone you care about, maybe their partner is cheating on them in some way or something, and you're struggling with whether or not to tell them. You could be the one struggling to tell your partner about something perhaps that may cause them pain. It doesn't necessarily have to be infidelity, that you've fallen in love with someone else, although that may resonate for some of you. But it's about revealing something or bringing forth some information, news, messages that may cause emotional pain, and you're trying to figure out what to do. We have next the Eight of Wands, card of communication, with the Ten of Swords. So the Eight of Wands is a communication card. We have fire energy here, which governs the suit of wands. That's the suit of wands element. So it's a fiery, dynamic, action-oriented energy. It's all about, it's usually forward-moving, fluid, change, movement, action, power. The Eight of Wands is a card of communication, swift, powerful communication, or communication that may have some significant impact as well. And this can be information exchanged in a variety of different ways: face-to-face, phone, email, fax. I mean, we live in a technologically savvy world today where the options and avenues we have for communication are much more varied than they used to be. Some of your struggle may be, how do I tell them? What form do I use to tell them? You know, do I tell them face-to-face? Do I call them up? Do I send a letter? What do I do? Now, it's paired with the Ten of Swords, which is sometimes referred to as the stabbed in the back card or the betrayal card. It does represent an ending, and it represents maybe an unexpected kind of ending as well. And the fact that it's, usually coming at you from behind represents an unexpected element, can represent disloyalty, betrayal. And again, I really feel like whatever this, it's like you're in this ethical, moral dilemma, Taurus. Could be somebody close to you that's in this as well, and they've come to you for advice, and now it's you're kind of caught up in a part of it too. And it could be that the revealing of this could be seen as a form of betrayal or disloyalty somehow. You may be struggling with what form of communication. Do you step forward and do it straight up? Do you try and do it anonymously? Again, therein lies a struggle for some of you. Now, next to that we have, and it looks like that's pretty much the energy for the majority of the month. And not to say that it's all this negative energy and this is consuming your thoughts, 24/7. I don't feel like it is. I mean, life goes on around this. And again, I always advise people, reflect, assess, do what you can to think about things, but you need to take a break, and life has to go on as well. It's not like the whole month is negative or challenging. So remember that. This isn't something, I think for a lot of you, this isn't something that, was deliberate or intentional on your part. And in fact, part of the ethical and moral struggle is coming from that you don't want to cause pain or conflict or chaos and strife for anybody else or for a group of anybody else as well, which is why you're struggling with it. Now, we have Justice and the Nine of Swords next. So justice is just what it is, justice. And it's all about our choices and decisions. There's that saying, justice is blind, because it's supposed to be dependent not what on we want, not what on we hope or what our intentions were, but on our actual choices, actions, and decisions. And it means fair, a fair outcome. The cautionary advice when the Justice card comes up is, if you have a choice to make, an action to take, a path to choose, make sure that you uphold the strongest level of honesty, transparency, personal honor, and integrity with what you've chosen, how you've chosen to live your life in terms of ethical and moral foundation, because the outcome will be dependent on that. And how you feel afterwards will be, even if it's difficult, will be dependent on, did you feel you did the right thing or not, even though it may have been difficult. So it's about what's fair, what's just, what's even, what's balanced. Now, it's paired with the Nine of Swords, which I don't like to see because it's a card of a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, strife. If tens represent completion, which it's right next to that Ten of Swords. tens represent cycles ending, and it could be that not only do you worry about this being seen as disloyal or a betrayal, but that it would be an ending of a certain situation or relationship. And the Nine of Swords is a lot of stress, anxiety, worry. And it's not to say that the source isn't valid, of your stress, anxiety, worry, and fear isn't valid, but the Nine of Swords usually shows up when someone has built it up in their heads to be bigger and worse than the actual reality of the situation calls for. It's too much stress and worry. It's staying up late at night, not being able to sleep, having kind of obsessive thinking or over focusing, particularly on the negative. You can see this little owl sitting on the windowsill here. And in a tarot card, I mean, you could spend many, many hours just, trying to understand or trying to describe the meaning and symbolism in a tarot card. Everything has a meaning. The colors, the shapes, the designs, the objects, the people, the animals. So owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, intelligence, solution, clarity, insight. And you can see this one is very close to this woman. It's close enough she could reach out and touch it. And it implies that there is a solution, a path, an answer, guidance, insight, wisdom of some kind, but she can't see it because she's only focused on the source of the stress, anxiety, worry, strife, and fear. So remember that. Be vigilant with that. That's too much stress, anxiety about it. So remember that kind of overall, Taurus, as you're going through the month of November, because I feel like the majority of it, this is just kind of turning over and over in your head. Make sure that it doesn't, ultimately this comes back down to what is the right thing for you to do, deciding what that is, and then figuring out the process by which you do it. The Nine of Swords is overthinking it, is thinking too much about it. It's being stuck in the anxiety, fear part of it rather than the action part of it, which automatically pulls you out of a stuck place. So remember that if that kind of energy creeps up for you. It's all about what is the right thing to do, picking that, choosing the right method of doing it, and then acting on that. And that will help pull you out of any areas where you may get stuck in overthinking it. Now, at or towards the end of the month, we have Temperance and the Queen of Cups, which I feel is guidance and advice from God, Spirit, your angels and guides, Spirit. Temperance is about temperance, being in the middle. To temper something is to blend two opposite extremes in such a way that neither of the two extremes, that they blend well together. In culinary terms, this would be something really hot paired with something that's not really hot, that's cold or cool. If you just dump it all together and try to mix it up, it's not going to go together, and things are going to break and curdle and not be good. You have to introduce it slowly, whisking it up, mixing it slowly, adding a little bit more. It's about balance. It's about being in the middle. On a mental, emotional, and spiritual level, it's kind of like being in the middle of a seesaw or a teeter-totter. When you're at the outside ends, it's imbalance. You're at the mercy of extremes, other people, situations, words, things like that. But when you're in the middle, being in the middle means that you know what the right thing is to do. You're grounded in who you are and what's right for you. And regardless of what's happening on the outside, that's what keeps you grounded. That's what keeps you centered and stable. That's what temperance is about. And it's paired with the Queen of Cups, which I think is a perfect personification, representation, person-wise, of temperance, because she would be a very tempered sort of individual. Queens and kings represent individuals who have reached the mastery of their suit. So they've achieved a balance with the character traits of the energy of their suit. Cups is water energy. It's emotions, feelings, relationships. So this is somebody who is in touch with her feelings, able to touch base with her feelings, utilize them, but she's not ruled by them or controlled by them in an unstable way. She's nurturing, warm, compassionate, always knows the right thing to say, diplomatic, caring, but has her boundaries as well, but in a soft but still centered, grounded kind of way. She's a great personification of temperance. So strong advice for you. This is, at the end, this is really what it comes down to, Taurus. For some of you too, this can represent a person who's significant somehow in this situation. It could be somebody who's playing a significant role on one side or the other, with you, for you, against you, however it's perceived. Some of you, this just may be the energetic energy of the Queen of Cups as advice. Could be a water sign, female, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or someone who strongly manifests these character traits. So it's really kind of it's all contemplation energy. Make sure that you don't spend too much time obsessing about this, too much time getting focused on the negative. At the end of the day, it's really about what's right, what's true, what's just, what's fair, but also keeping in mind a certain compassion level as well. What's the right thing to do? Okay, this is the right thing for me to do. What method should I choose to do it? And just acting on that. It's really it's all about how you choose to do this. Your overall crowning energy is the Magician, which says that you have everything that you need already as part of you, within you, to make this the best that you can, which is who the Magician is. He's worked long and hard. He's had a lot of a pretty long path of life behind him, experiences, trial and error, success, failure, triumph, defeat. He's reached a point in his craft and his career where he can now create, manifest whatever he wants to, because he has the knowledge, the skills, the tools, the experience behind him in order to do that. He doesn't really need any help from anybody, very little if any help from anybody else, because he's the Magician. He's put in a lot to reach the place that he's at. It's all about taking everything that you have inside of you, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, your perseverance, your dedication, your own ethical and moral foundation, Taurus, and just manifesting that in an outward way in what you know to be right. And you have all the tools that you're able to navigate your way through this. So it's actually quite a powerful reading. The only cautionary advice, again, is that balanced, temperate energy, and also there may be some times during the month where you find yourself maybe getting too caught up and focusing on the negative, on being too anxious and kind of obsessive about this. When that happens, be vigilant about that. It's unnecessary. It's, again, it comes down to who you are, what you know is right, and figuring out the process how to manifest that. So Taurus, that pretty much wraps up your November 2017 general readings. I hope that it has been of some use. It feels important and significant somehow. Perhaps there's some lessons you will be learning about yourself and other people through this process. It's a very powerful, strengthening, gain wisdom and insight kind of month, it looks like, too, as well. Thank you very much for watching it. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, just go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that About button, and you'll see more information, my contact information. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I will work with you as quickly as I possibly can. You can also find me on the Instant Go app if you just have a quick question or want a really short same-day read for, shorter, less complex. Or you can email me and we'll schedule a personal reading, live or recorded. Thank you so much, Taurus. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the November mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.